Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I had a lot of time to go through the speech. This speech, Madam Speaker, resonates with a statement President Hakainde Hichilema once made was in opposition, where he said, when a government fails to improve the livelihood of its citizens, the citizens should remove government from power. So, Madam Speaker, the failures the President referred to at the time would be failures in the health sector, in the mining sector, agricultural sector, and indeed in the energy sector. So today, Madam Speaker, I'll delve on the energy sector. But before I do that, I just wanted to compliment my sister's debate, where she gave government a distinction, and particularly under CDF project. To put everything in perspective, numbers don't lie. If you look at the budgets under the UPND put together in the past 4 years, the budgets amount to about 870 billion. For the information of the nation, only 19 billion is CDF. For the information of the nation. So even as you give an A+ or a distinction, it's 19 billion against 870. Yeah, so Zambians, Madam Speaker, have been concerned what has happened to the 850 billion. So I just thought I should put that in perspective. It doesn't matter how well you do on 2.3% of your budget. It doesn't matter how well you perform. What people are concerned with is the 97%. And I think that's where the challenge has been. So, Madam Speaker, we are moving on. We are moving on. So, Madam Speaker, there's been failure. There's been failure on the part of government, especially in the energy sector. The President on page 23 acknowledges that the Zambian people are going through hardships given
Order, Honorable Member. There is an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Member for Mwandi, what is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, this is in reference to content of speech. Standing order number 71. Is the Honorable Member, Senior Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Mundubile, in order to misquote me on the floor of the House? I'm happy that even he's acknowledging that the government has scored a distinction. That's from him. But what he's failed to do is, Madam Speaker, is to misquote me that I've given a distinction to government when it comes to CDF. What I said on the floor of the House, Madam Speaker, is that this government has scored in totality, and not just in regards to CDF, in totality, Madam Speaker. I'm sure the recruitment of teachers does not come from CDF. The recruitment of health workers does not come from CDF. And the roads that I spoke about, Chibuluma, does not come from CDF. And there's so many other things that the government do not come from CDF. So when I was debating here, I was talking about it in totality. Is the Honorable Member to misquote me, an innocent person, a junior member who's coming back in 2026 because I'm still very junior, to misquote me like that? That's Senior Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, I seek your protection and ruling. I submit.
Order, Honorable Members. Honorable Members, when we are debating, let's not involve other members of Parliament, because the Honorable Member for Mwandi debated using her own views, the way she sees things, which might be different from the Honorable Member from Porokoso. You've got your own view as well. She's got her own views as well. And what the beauty of it is that at the end of the debates by the backbenchers, the honorable ministers will come and respond to the major issues that will be raised in your debates. So please let us respect each other's views, so long we are not out of the presidential address. So the honorable member for Mporokoso, stick to your views.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to ensure that the Zambians don't forget, CDF is only 2.3% of the budget, so that the Zambian people should keep that in context. Madam Speaker, under paragraph 91, the speech read, in 57 years prior to 2021, the growth in demand for power consumption significantly outstripped investment in power generation, transformation and distribution. For too long, this issue did not receive the needed attention. Madam Speaker, I wish to disagree. Madam Speaker, if you go around, it remains a fact that between 2011 and 2021, power generation was improved from 1,600 megawatts to 3,400. So there was more than double in terms of improvement. So the statement here is inaccurate, and I hope that the records can be, rectified along the way. So there was something done. There was something done, Madam Speaker. There was a lot of investment that went into this particular sector. The other statement, Madam Speaker, that follows is where the President said, our government is actively addressing this challenge. Again, I disagree, Madam Speaker. You cannot address a challenge of power shortages by exporting power. Today, Madam Speaker, the problem that we have is because government is exporting power. So when the President says our government is actively addressing this challenge, I disagree with this statement, because we've been exporting power. The challenges that we have today is that this government has disregarded the hardships of the Zambian people, and instead prioritized business. You cannot abandon the challenges of your citizens in preference for business. Madam Speaker, on the floor of this House, we had reintroduced and broadened the definition of corruption to mean actions or actions that take into account, that involve government taking interest in private capital at the expense of public interest. And this will come in form of administration, policy, and legislation. So today, the many decisions that are made by this government as regards export of power can be defined as corruption under that broadened definition. Because, Madam Speaker, we have a situation today where private companies are making billions of dollars today out of this same sector, and ZESCO is in perpetual deficit. What my young brother talked about, previously would import power from Mozambique, EDM. Today, you cannot import as government power directly from there. You've got to do it through a private company called Canona. That's what the problem is. The middlemen that have been introduced along the way is what is causing a problem. Previously, Madam Speaker, we were told it was because of drought, and everybody believed the story. People came on the floor of this House to get approvals, ratifications for new rates, but there's no drought now. What is the problem? The problem is that government has preferred private interest. Zambians must interrogate, why has it been difficult? Even for the President, he found it difficult to talk about the energy sector. The energy sector, Madam Speaker, was the elephant in the room. Every Zambian out there was waiting to hear the solutions that the President would advance on the floor of the House. And clearly, there's no solution to that particular problem. That takes us back to his statement. He says, if government fails to resolve the challenges the Zambians are facing, the Zambians must remove government. And indeed, I'm happy that the Zambian people have decided, they've made up their minds that come next year, the UPND government will leave government because they have failed to resolve the challenges of the Zambian people. So, Madam Speaker, there are a number of things government would have done. For example, we have the pencil line that comes from Kabwe into Kasama. All the government needed to do was to do a line from Kasama to Tunduma. There is overcapacity on the Tanzanian side, and the line is up to Tunduma. Had that line been done, we would have been receiving cheap electricity from Tanzania. The reason why that was not done, Madam Speaker, is because it was going to temper with private business. The reason why that particular decision has not been made, Madam Speaker, it was going to temper with private business. the private business of importing and exporting power through middlemen. So we have leaders in government today that are protecting private business at the expense of the many suffering Zambians. Yes. We all must rise and advise government. The ministers that are here, Madam, Your Honor, the Vice President, each time your government started addressing people's problems, it's very clear that for as long as you fail to address the people's problems, people rise and remove you from government, as it were.
Member from Porokoso, please avoid addressing our Honor, the Vice President. You are debating through the presiding officer.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. Through you to the executive. Even if it is too late now to make any changes, because the Zambian people have decided, it would be good for them to do something good for Zambia so that Zambians in future can remember them. You cannot prefer private business and leave the many small businesses. Mothers are dying every day in hospitals due to load shedding because some people in government have preferred business to public interest. Madam Speaker, with those few words, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Solwezi East.